clean this up. Hey, baby, sitting all alone in my courtyard, looking as if you had every right. All over the world they call me Prince, but you can call me Mr. Goodnight. Surely the dandies that escort you places imparted a rumor or two about the parade of lovely faces that follow me. Surely they do. Why the fuck is there so much stuff on my desk that's not supposed to be here? What say you to that, lips so inviting? It's all I can do not to stare. What say to you, past, present, and future, that you don't care? I don't care. If so, you'll be the first, and I'll give you the keys to the whip of your dreams, all right? Something about flying on a private jet, and then I forget the rest. Why do I have this stuck in my head? Mister. And where the hell did my rag go? My cleaning rag always appears to disappear. Actually, it doesn't appear to disappear, it just disappears! You bastards! Oh, I want to smack somebody with a 1500 volt. Better not tell your girlfriend. Da 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 da. Mr. Goodnight. Mr. Prince! I miss Prince. I like the album. Planet Earth was an interesting album. Very interesting, intriguing album. Alright. Mister. Still haven't got this goddamn bike programmed. I thought I found a way around this bullshit of being user access level 0 to get to user access level 3. It doesn't work. I thought if I got access to an actual backdoor support login, that I'd be able to change that. And still, nothing. Fuck accelerated systems in their ass. I swear. Terrible shit. It's like, I feel like I own an Apple product right now. I really do. I feel like I own a fucking Apple product. I can't get rid of this stupid thing where it takes a second to ramp up after you hit the throttle, and B, it stays on and going for 2 or 3 amps after you hit the throttle. It's driving me nuts. You need a higher user access level to access all the good stuff. None of the hacks will allow you to do it. I even got somebody to send me a login, and that didn't do it. I gave the bounty. I didn't give the full bounty because the software that I got the login to didn't actually do anything. But I still sent it $30. I am a fair man. $30 is meeting halfway. You sent me the login. The login worked, but it doesn't actually allow me to change or edit any parameters or read any of the parameters. But still, okay. You know, fair is fair. Don't want to discourage involvement. I think I'm probably just going to make a 4th YouTube channel. Hacking ASI's modems. Hacking ASI's motor controllers. That's probably going to be my next YouTube channel. Most likely at this point. Okay. We're going to fix a MacBook. And then GTFO! By the way, before we get started, this is very important. Very important. Of the most importance. I'm going to start doing this more often. I've learned that if I'm going to get ahead to the point that I want, I'm going to have to be a little bit more of an asshole. And that means I'm not going to go Linus style with it. You know, we're not going to have a 4-minute ad in a 5-minute video. But I am going to have to start shilling to you people a little bit harder than I have been shilling before. We need more shilling. I just paid about a $56,000 credit card bill, and it's just like all these stupid little things, like having every single little thing in stock that I didn't have in stock before, like little things, like $12,000 of data recovery stuff, another like $5,000 of video shit. It's like this, it all adds up. So I'm going to be shelling shit much harder than I used to. So, have you guys all checked out store.rossmangroup.com? So let's just show you some of the lovely items I have here that I'm going to be guilting you into buying today. Behind door number 1, we have an ultrasonic cleaner. This is an open box unit, and it's actually the no box unit. It's kind of fucked up a little over here. It still cleans. We've tested it. It does clean. However, it has a dent in the lid, and because of that dent in the lid, you also don't get a power cable box and bent top cover. You are getting it for the nice low price of $280. That is $280 for a P230H45. Steve uses this ultrasonic cleaner when he's doing data recovery. It's an excellent ultrasonic cleaner, and it can be yours today for the low, low price of $280. We don't ship them all. It's sold in-store only. This is sold in-store only. 220-volt P230H45. Next up, these are screens that I bought back in 2010, around 2010 or so, when I had the supply business, that I have still not fucking used. And these are OEM B154PW01 V0s. These screens, I've had these for about 9 years now. They are original AU Optronic screens for an A1150 or A1211 MacBook Pro. Why tell us on YouTube for pickup only? Because some of you on YouTube may be watching from New York, or you may have a motor vehicle, or you may have a Bafang. I assume that you're able to get up. Are you able to get up, my friend? Now, to continue. This screen over here, this is available, not just for local pickup. We ship this anywhere in the world, and it will come autographed. Fuck Apple. Louis Rossman, fuck you. I want your balls mashed. Eat shit bastard. Now, not all screens will say fuck you. I want your balls mashed. Eat shit bastard. Some of them will have different lines, from Message to Harry Manback, from Tool's 1996 album, Anima. A lovely album about sinking California. They should make a sequel about sinking New York. But I digress. These screens over here will work in your A1150 or A1211 MacBook Pro. And there's nothing that you can do that it would be nicer for your spouse, significant other, child, parent, cousin, teacher, affair, mistress, or whatever, then get them a screen for their A1150 ATI X1600 Core Duo 2006 MacBook Pro that will work with brightness control even if you use Tiger. That's right, folks. Unlike those CLA 154 WP05s that only give you brightness control when you're using 10.5 Leopard and up, these will give you brightness even if you're using Tiger. So you don't have to sit there during a house call and upgrade somebody and waste an hour of your time installing an update to the operating system because it'll just work when installed. Even 9 years ago, Rossman Repair only used the highest quality screens. Mwah! Such high quality that we even stock them today. 13 years after that computer has been obsolete and discontinued. And because we suck at inventory, you get to benefit from that today by getting an original B154PW01. What else do we have here on store.rossmangroup.com? What else do we have here on store.rossmangroup.com? Let's take a look. What do we have that's new? We've got sticker packs. We've got eye bridges. We've got eye sockets. That's eye is in the letter socket, not actual. We're not serial killers here. We have resistor and capacitor books. We have iPhone 10 quick nozzles. Look at this right over here. So this little thing over here will allow you to connect the other half of an iPhone 10 board to the top board, so you don't have to reassemble or resolder together the entire phone. It's very handy. Paul has taken some really high-quality pictures that I don't know how to show you in a bigger window because my website sucks, but it will not suck for long because we got a new one on the way. It comes with everything that you see here. Look at this. Beautiful, beautiful. Over here, you can get resistor and capacitor books if you want to replace these components and you don't have donor boards. Over here, you have a quick iPhone 10 nozzle. This will allow you to separate the board on an iPhone 10 with a nozzle that is purpose manufactured for this purpose? That is manufactured for this purpose. It's late, folks, and I'm tired. So, excuse me on that. And over here, we have the iBridge. The iBridge, you connect this to the phone, and then it gives you a list of all the test points. See all those test points? So you can measure all these test points by attaching this thing to the phone, so you don't have to go link around and try to get your multimeter probes under flex cables and shit and around to underfill. This right over here is an amazing must-have tool, and we have it for the iPhone 6, 6 Plus, 6S, 6S Plus, 7, 7 Plus, and more! Actually, not more. It just sounds cool when you say that. What else do we have on store.rossmangroup.com? We've got Quicks. We've got Quicks, and they may not be sold at the same price as the evil tea equipment. However, they're sold with love from store.rossmangroup.com. And they help support this lovely educational content that you're enjoying right now. What else do we have on store.rossmangroup.com that we can shill? We have flux. We have solder paste. We have ultrasonic cleaners. We have connectors. We have chipsets. We have tools. We have Gootwick. We have bent nozzles. We have iPhone battery and test cords. And oh my God, hi, why the fuck are you selling this shit so expensive? Nobody is going to buy this shit at $26.99, hi. What the fuck? Where are you getting your prices from? Anyway, we have trackpads. We have pictures of BlackBerry. We have flex cables. We have hinges. We have, well, we don't have DC inboards. We have more DC inboards. We have DC inboard cables. We have trackpad flex cables. We even have Samsung S8 LCD digitizer connectors. We have connectors and chips to devices that we don't even service. We're just that good. And if you're confused on how to use this stuff, you can check out the forum, boards.rossmangroup.com. On boards.rossmangroup.com, on boards.rossmangroup.com, on this piece of shit fucking forum that doesn't want to fucking load. Oh, come on. You fucking piece of shit. Piece of de mierda. Figlio de putana. Eh? You could pay $29 a month for a forum that doesn't even work. Use vBulletin Cloud Hosting, they said. It'll be more stable than hosting it on your own server, they said. I'm sure I could find a way to blame Hi for that. Suka belet, pizdiets. I actually pay for the cloud hosting even though I had it hosted on my own website. Oh, that's so fucking stupid. Wow, don't trust it. Don't trust it. What else do we have? What else can I shill? Well, I guess I can't shill anything else at the moment, but I'll find things to shill at a later date and time. Rest and Rip Lewis is shilling. Rip Lewis is shilling. Sigh. Sigh duck. Sigh. Are we fixing MacBooks? We are going to fix MacBooks shortly. This is some bullshit. Boo. My wife. Nothing ever works. Hey. Here we have a MacBook that needs to be fixed. This is an A1708 model MacBook. This is a 13-inch Touch Bar MacBook Pro. It appears to not power on. Let's see if we can figure out why this MacBook doesn't power on. Why don't you service S8s? Because I don't hate my life. I don't hate myself that much, actually. If you want to do anything on that, you got it's a nightmare. So the first issue that you have are the screens. Every customer is going to say that you're a ripoff when they see the price for the screens. They don't care that you're getting gouged when you buy the screen. They're just going to see that what you're charging, and they're going to think that you're trying to rip them off. Screw that. It's much easier to say, I don't fix that, than it is to say, yes, we do. Here's a price that you're never going to agree to pay, but that will encourage you to leave a 1-star review and walk out the door because you think I'm trying to rip you off. Secondly, when it comes to, let's say, other random issues. So I have people walk in every now and then and say, my camera intermittently works. Yeah, so let me just unglue the back of the phone and destroy your liquid resistance to get in there to figure out what's wrong with something on a free estimate that you may or may not be willing to fix, that I'm then tasked to put back together perfectly and keep it with its IP68 liquid resistance, even though you don't want to pay. No! No. Data recovery. Data recovery. Data recovery? Yes. The rest? No. Now, at some point, Rum and Coke emotional support. Thank you very much, JP. At some point, we may be at a point where servicing Samsung devices does not suck balls and it actually makes sense to fix their phones. I'm sure other businesses do. Other people make it work. They're doing something I'm not. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense for anybody to. I'm just saying I look over at that landscape and say, fuck that noise. Oh, and the other thing is a lot of those Samsung screens, I don't know if this is still true, but they used to have this thing where they would develop a line down the bottom of the screen, a lot of those AMOLED displays, if they got even the teeny tiniest bit of pressure put on them at a later date. But the thing is, now the vendor is not going to warranty the screen when it does that, right? So your vendor is not going to warranty it. They're going to say damage. Your customer is going to say bullshit because the LCD is not cracked. It just has this strange yellow or blue vertical line down it. And that's very common with those. So there's that. And there's no profit margin in replacing LCDs on those when the LCD is broken. There really isn't. So you can't work with the customer the same way you could with something else. So if you're buying an iPhone screen for, I don't know, like $35 and you're charging $70 or $90 to fix it, you got profit margin there to work with, so that when something does happen that's inconvenient, you can work with the customer if you realize, listen, I know this sucks, I'm sorry, here, I'll cover half of it this time or something like that. But when you're paying like $290 for a screen to a phone that a customer paid $600 for, that they know that they could find that phone on eBay working for $350, you have no profit margin to work with there. You have nothing. So if there's any sort of problem, you either get to lose a bunch of money, or you get somebody that's going to absolutely hate your guts. Yep. Fuck fixing Samsung phones. Looks like Paul Daniels has some nightmare sensor issues. Him and Camille, too. Okay. So here, we have the inside of the MacBook. We're going to zoom in, and as you can see, it's off-center. Hi has still not found me a mount. I was hoping that Hi would find me something that could clip to the table or a proper mount. Everybody email Hi at rossmangroup.com and bug him. Spam him. Hopefully the company email is not down along with the company forum. As you can see, coffee, coffee, coffee. I can tell that it's coffee and not another drink because coffee is one of the worst smelling things alive. It's one of the worst smelling, disgusting, filthy beverages. I can tell when a machine that's had coffee is spilled on is in the store. Even before I take it out of the slot, I just tell that it's there because the smell permeates everywhere. It's fucking nasty. Coffee is one of the most disgusting things on earth. And you can see that right next to the nasty coffee, if I change the ISO on the camera a little bit, there is a hair. Ew. Gross. Disgusting. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do here is we are going to unplug the battery and see how much amperage this uses. Just by itself. I want to see where we are, where are we starting here. I'm sorry you feel that way. What are you, a politician? Are you my ex-girlfriend? Are you the person on the other end of the phone at Spectrum customer service or Time Warner customer service when the internet's down? I'm sorry you feel that way. Well, I'm sorry you exist. Asshole. Pizzo de mierda.
Get the fuck out of my store. We are closed. Get the fuck out of my store. We are closed. Get the fuck out of my store. We are closed. Get the fuck out of my store. We are closed.
Why are you playing through my monitor by default? That's terrible.
We are closed. Get the fuck out of my store. We are closed.
Much better. Let's see this. Are you running away with the circus? Vacation. Vacation starts Thursday. Thursday. Much vacation. All right. Let's see what this MacBook is doing. It looks like it's taking 20 volts and 800 milliamps. It appears I'm getting trolled again with another boring MacBook that already fucking works. Why? Why? I don't want to see a MacBook that already works. My Jesus. Okay, you already work. You said no power. You effing lied. Let me just put this in the ticket and move on to the next one. I hate when I grab something from the slot that says no power and it has power. It's so boring and anticlimactic. Boring. There is a back-end error on the forums. Yes, it's down. Yeah, it's not working. It's fucked, as they say. And Lewis will address that later. Already turns on. Backlight. Boots. Boring. Slot. F17. So boring. I need to find something that will take a good story because I have to be out of here by 12 o'clock, which is coming soon. So I don't have time to open a bunch of machines that already work that say no power. You got to grab something that's a good example. Something fun, something exciting. Something that'll make this live channel great again. I have been slacking on posting videos recently, and most of you have not been slow to remind me of that. All right. Let's delete that video because there's nothing good there. Hi, I'm a high school student that walks by your shop often. I would like to work for you, or if not, shadow you. I need somebody who can do customer service, but if you're in high school, you're probably going to be in school during the hours that I need somebody. So I'm not sure how to make that work. Now, in terms of shadowing somebody, one of the issues with that is you may notice that there's no space for anything here. Look at this. There's no room for nothing. This is, Kevin is right here. So Kevin sits here. I could lean over, and I'm already in his space. Now, if you look to my right, you'll notice that there's already somebody else's desk. So there would literally be no place for you to sit, unfortunately. I think it would be cool to be able to, teach other people live and stuff like that, but there is no space and there is no time. There's no time and there's no space. There is no space-time. You guys are going to be stuck with whatever Anel, Camille, and Paul decide to stream once I go on vacation. Hopefully they're able to stream on a regular basis and do some good recordings. Do you see big companies folding screens? You said potential or a drawback for repairs. I have no idea. I don't know. I think that's why I didn't answer the first time, because I don't know, unfortunately. I have no idea. I know that screen repair is becoming less and less of something that's worthwhile on phones with the prices of the screens and the supply chains a lot of these companies have closing down and becoming more restrictive. Okay. Here we have another dead MacBook. And unlike the other ones that I've been trying to stream over the past several days, I hope this one is actually dead. It's very boring when they're not dead. So we can open this MacBook up and see what's going on with it. This is an A1398, 13-inch MacBook Pro that says no power. And if this turns on and has power when I open it and try to turn it on, I will rage quit and make an L for taking in all these estimates that say one thing when they're another. Solder, bypass the mux on 11 A1286 2011 MacBook Pros from the comfort of my basement. Let's get started. We're going to open this thing up and see if it works. Can everybody email Hi about getting a better camera mount for the desk? I'm utilizing the strategy with Hi that I utilize with other people when I'm doing management, which is make sure that you bother them constantly, and eventually it will do it. I need a better mount for this desk, because this thing, it shakes constantly. It fucking drives me crazy. And you can never lock this shit in a one position. It just constantly moves around like this. There's no way to make this straight. It's impossible. It's impossible. You could spend all day on this. You're never going to get it to point down straight. And when you finally do, and you think you're in the spot and you lock it, and you're so excited, it fucking slips. Grrr! Angry! Lewis smash. Hulk smash. I give Lewis 3 days before he cracks up on vacation. Yeah, I'm not much of a vacation person. I can't spend time on vacation without eventually going to do work or reading about something related to work or always something else. I don't know what you should do, Hi. I need it to be where I have a straight view of my desk, so straight view of my desk, and I can still access the features in the camera, such as the zoom and also the ISO, because auto ISO on this thing is a piece of shit. So, you know what I'm looking for. You find it. Go, go, go. You be stream assistant. By the way, Paul, if you're watching, I still have got absolutely nowhere with programming for that fucking ASI controller. So somebody told me a way that I could kind of backdoor my way into it. No pun intended, since the ASI software is called backdoor, so I could increase my user access level, so I could get rid of that stupid feature where the motor continues going for 2 or 3 amps even after I take my hand off the throttle. That does not actually work, so I got to try to find an older version of the software that does that, because they fixed it in a newer one, so it doesn't do that anymore. Then somebody else actually sent me credentials to the Bluetooth version of the software, and it allows me to export the programming that's there, except it's all zeros, and it's the exact opposite of what I want. So you can't change parameters, and what it's reading is actually still all zeros. So I am at the point where I am this close to just posting some public $2,000 bounty. Not yet, but I'm very close to posting a $2,000 bounty just to fuck with ASI for somebody who manages to hack this shit system so that I can change the parameters myself. Never buy an ASI motor controller. Never, ever, ever, ever. Use somebody else. I thought it would be a little bit more plug and play than the Kelly shit where you have to do a lot of configuration on your own, but it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I might as well I have an Apple product strapped to my bike right now. I have an Apple product strapped to my bike. That's what it feels like. It's because this is, it's one thing to work for 12 hours a day surrounded by these disgusting, filthy products where if you just so much want to change the chip that reads the battery because it died because it's an Apple product, that it doesn't let you because it's an Apple product and you have to find some bullshit way around it. But in my personal life, even there, on my transportation, on my way home, there is an Apple product in my life. It makes me sick. Fuck ASI. Fuck them so hard. I've offered them money and they still won't help. And fuck them. Anyway, so here we have the A1398 MacBook Pro. It claims to not be turning on. We're going to see if that's true. I am going to plug this in and open this up so it doesn't think that it's sleeping. And I'm going to plug it in and see how many amps it's taking without the battery attached. And it is taking 1.2 amps, 1.8 amps, and it's turning on. Holy crap. Can I fire everybody that does intake at the store? Can I get rid of all of you? No power. It boots. The fuck is wrong with you? I take 2 days off. Ah, fucking shit. The fuck you mean it doesn't turn on? What the fuck do you mean it doesn't turn on? It fucking works. I took 2 days off. I took 2 days off and the no power slot is filled with shit that already turns on. Another one that says no power that turns on. Sigh. You're all trolling me. You're all... I cannot find stuff to stream unless I examine it when they come in. If it powers on, why say no power? Why? Why do this to me? You think you're cool, right? Fuck you. Fucking American. I hope you die of a cancer. XOXO Lewis. Slot E17. Next. I'm going to avoid the no power slot because clearly that's where... Apparently the no power slot is where we put all the shit that actually turns on. Yeah, so the no power slot is where we store all the computers that already work. It's a good thing one of the two managers is coming in tomorrow and is actually watching the stream right now. He's the type of guy that is going to fix all this up. Okay. Because I'm confident that I can go on vacation without coming back to a store that's on fire. I know I can go on vacation. I know I can go on vacation and not come back to every single slot having the wrong thing in it. I know I can go on vacation and my website just not randomly go down. I know I can go on vacation and every fresh desk ticket will be checked. I know I can go on vacation and my live chat's not going to have people saying, hello, is anybody there? Hello, is anybody there at 5:30 in the afternoon? I know I can go on vacation and the voicemail is going to get checked. I know I can go on vacation and the machines that are in the new slots will be fixed. I know I can go on vacation. And even if I take a week off, that the slots won't have machines in them that say no power dead when they already turn on. I know that the wrong nodes are not going to go into the wrong ticket while I'm on vacation. Because I have the world's best staff. With proper incentive. Come here. Come here. All right. No, seriously. This is... You guys have got to be fucking with me. You got to be fucking with me. You got to be fucking... Okay. Next time. Let's see. Fuck the no power slot. That slot is a troll. That slot has been a troll for 2 streams in a row. Not 1 stream. 2 streams in a row. 2 streams in a row. Every single machine I grab from no power. It already works. All right. Next. Next. Fucking next. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Here we have another MacBook that doesn't work. This MacBook says it has no backlight, and like all the other MacBooks that were sent in by this other company, have been fucked with prior. And you can tell. There are several signs that IQ below room temperature has worked on this MacBook. Sign number 1 that IQ below room temperature has worked on this MacBook is the routing of this cable over here. Now, what way would you route this cable if it was you working on this MacBook and you had no prior experience? Would you route the cable on this MacBook so that the wire is directly touching the fan, so that if the fan were on, it would constantly rub against the cable? Or would you route this wire like so that not only does the wire not rub on the fan, but also covers up this little mess of wires over here and a screw hole? Which way would you route that wire if you were working on this machine? Because if you said you would route it this way, you're smarter than the average fucking repair shop that outsources a device to Rossmann Repair. Now, let's get on and see what's wrong with this. So they say no backlight. So I can see that there's already a little bit of fuckery right by the backlight circuit. And I'm afraid of this fuckery, because at this point, I realize that someone with the IQ of a bottle of kombucha has worked on this MacBook. Now, if we take a look, there's some fluxing, but nothing too terrible. We don't have anything here that seems like it's unfixable, and we don't really have a lot of sign of water damage. So the first thing I'm interested in seeing is, does this have a backlight on the screen simply because I didn't plug the cable in like a dumbass? Because that would actually be a pretty nice fix. I am so sick and tired of stores sending me this shit. Keep in mind, again, if you're an end user, if you're a customer, if you are a person who's just opening up their stuff for the first time, and you do this shit, no big problem. You don't know any better. No, just no skin off our back. Here, we'll change the cable around, we'll close the machine up, we'll blow out the dust, we'll replace the thermal paste, and we'll charge you nothing. Seriously. If you're a store and you do this shit to your customers' devices, if you're a store and your customer now has to wait 1 to 2 weeks more to get their shit back because you're an idiot, I'm fucking billing you for that. Fuck that. Now, let's see what happens when we turn this on. So, if I sent you a cattle prod, would you fix G3 Hot with it? Perhaps. Perhaps. All right. So we're going to plug this in, and it's turning on. And if this thing gets backlight, I am billing these people full fucking price. Not kidding. Give me a question mark folder. Give me a reason. All right. I will read your chat while I'm waiting for the question mark folder to show up. Also, I'm going to have to measure around at some point, so we're going to turn on Paul Daniels' software. As if my night wasn't already bad enough as it is. Now we have Paul Daniels' software on my computer. Puh! Puh! Thank you very much for the paddle, Jay. The problem is that when I get this stuff, I'm thankful and I appreciate it, but the moment after I get it, I forget who sent it. I'm not good with names. I get Steve's name wrong a lot. I mix up Kevin and Mikey, and they've been working here for years. Steve's worked here since 2013, and I still get his name wrong. It's something I have to work on. I have a multi-stream chat viewer. Yes. But hello. Hi, Seller and Thermos Man. And person whose name I'm not even going to try to pronounce because that's impossible. Okay. I will read some chat while we wait for this. Is that the electric bug zapper? Yes, it is. I think Lewis has high blood pressure. I don't have high blood pressure, actually. Mine was what was it? Because I had to get tested today. It was something like 110 over 80. It was 110 over 80. I actually got tested today since I had to go to the doctor. And I also had to I also had to have blood drawn, which I hate. I actually was able to count it. I'm such a sissy that I count every second the needle's in me. It's 292 seconds. Awful. Someone order Lewis a pizza. I'm not a big pizza person, but thank you. I appreciate the offer. Okay, so it doesn't look like we have backlight. So the first thing we're going to do with Paul Daniels' software is check and see what it is we get on backlight output. Now we get 8 volts. 8 volts means that it's not boosting. So the reason I check the voltage at output instead of the voltage at the fuse is because I want to get as many answers as I can, as quickly as I can. So let's say I have voltage after the fuse. That still doesn't answer my question as to what could be wrong with the circuit. So let's just open up a schematic and a board view for an 820-00165, which is starting to get a little old in the teeth. Teeth? Why do you call it old in the tooth? Teeth are one of the few things that don't actually seem to be affected by the aging process very much. Gums, yes. Teeth, no. It's a silly expression. I'm going to just start changing everybody's expressions to what I think they should be. Like what PETA does. Don't grab a bull by the horns. Grab a rose by the thorns. Ugh. Sometimes I feel disgusted at the fact that I'm a vegan because organizations like PETA exist. I really do. I understand why people hate vegans. As a vegan, I understand why people hate them. I hate a lot of them too. I shouldn't say hate, intensely dislike. My first real boss at a Real Manhattan studio said, "Lois, you hate nothing. You intensely dislike it." He was missing all of his teeth too because of gums, bad gums. The fact that he was over 80 and he had this southern accent. "Lois, you hate nothing. You intentionally dislike it." I got to get him on for an interview someday. Anyway, so let's check out the PDF. And so let me just explain to you why it is that I measure output rather than measuring something like the fuse. Because most people, they would measure the backlight fuse. I measure output. I measure output because it tells me multiple things. So if output is 0 volts, either fuse is blown or transistor is not opening over here. That's supposed to be opening and letting backlight voltage through. And in really, really rare cases, a bad coil. Actually, not even that. A bad coil, you get 0.6 volts. Bad coil, because of it's cracked or broken internally, would mean 0.6 volts in backlight output. 8 volts on backlight output means voltage is going through, but no boosting. 8 volts of backlight output means the diode is good, the coil is good, the transistor is opening, and the fuse is good. So I've answered multiple questions there. Now, if I'm getting 18 to 19 volts on backlight output, this is boosting. This is being told to turn on. It's enabling. This fuse is good. This transistor is good. The coil is good. The diode is good. The capacitors are not shorted to ground. But the backlight brightness is low because the PWM is missing or not the value it's supposed to be. And if I'm getting like 35 to 50 volts over here on an Air or 52 to 70 volts on any of the other machines, that means that the backlight is being created. It's simply not making its way to the screen because there's no load, because either the LCD cable is bad or the screen is bad or something like that. So the reason that I check the voltage at output rather than checking the fuse is because the different results I could get at output tell me different things. So if I measure the voltage at output and I get 8, now I have an answer to multiple questions. And when I'm doing this work off of camera, when I'm not in front of the camera and explaining things for YouTube, I am working at a much faster pace than this because, I mean, you saw the amount of stuff in my store and there's a lot that comes in. And the only way I'm going to get that done is by running a Ponzi scheme on my time. And the way I run a Ponzi scheme on my time is by using these little time-saving tricks. So if I have 8 volts at output, I don't need to see if the coil is good. I don't need to see if this transistor is opening or if these two transistors are doing what they're supposed to or if these two signals are here or if this fuse is working because I've answered multiple questions. And as you move on, as you become more specialized in working on specific circuits, each time you should not just be looking to learn more. You should all become more proficient with what the normal problems are. You should also become proficient with how you can save time in your troubleshooting by figuring out what you could measure that will give you the maximum amount of information in the least amount of time. So when I measure and I get 8 volts at output, not only do I know that my fuse is good, but I also know that EDP backlight enable and backlight platform reset are present, which is going to short these two transistors to ground, which is going to allow the gate of this transistor to get shorted to ground, which is going to allow this P-channel MOSFET to open. I also know that the coil is good. I know that the diode is good. And I know that there's no short to ground on output because if there was a short to ground on output, I would be getting 0 volts instead of 8. So that one decision to measure at the output rather than measuring the fuse at the beginning has immediately saved me from having to make 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 or 6 other measurements. It's beautiful. I don't have to make a resistance measurement at ground. I got that already. Now, the next thing we need to do is see if backlight is being enabled. So backlight is either not being enabled because backlight enable is not present. Remember, this chip has to be told to turn on. It's not just going to automatically turn on. Don't go replacing chips now if they're not being told to turn on. You don't replace light bulbs before checking if the switch is present, right? If you're not going to replace a light bulb if the switch is in the off position, then you're not going to replace a chip if it's not being told to turn on. So we need to check and see if this is being told to turn on if it has backlight enable voltage. Now, if it does have backlight enable voltage, we got two potential things that are keeping us from boosting. Door number one, chip is bad. Door number two, feedback is missing. So this chip is going to want to see what it is that it's doing. So this chip is going vroom, vroom, just like me on my Bafang that goes 19.9999999999999 miles per hour as per Mayor de Blasio's laws. My machine over here is going to go vroom, and it's trying to go to 19.9999999999999 volts from the 8 volts that's present on input. So this PP-Bus G3 Hot over here, that's an 8 volt input, and it's trying to go to a higher voltage. Now, if it's not making enough voltage, it's going to go vroom and go even faster. If it sees that it's making too much voltage, it's going to let off the throttle a little bit and, stop switching as fast because the backlight boost is happening here as it is switching. When it switches the voltage over here to ground that's in front of the coil, it makes the coil really mad, like when Jessa's mad in a video. And when the coil gets as mad as Jessa, then it starts to shoot out more backlight voltage. That's how it works. Ask your physics professor. So this is going to do more or less boosting depending on what it sees at feedback. Now, what are you going to do if I'm riding my Bafang and I can't see where I'm going and somebody just does this to me? If they do that, if they throw something in front of my eyes, I'm immediately going to hit the brakes because I don't want to ride my bike at 19.9999999999999 miles per hour if I can't see where I'm going. So if the feedback is not present, it will stop boosting because it does not want to wind up creating, 100 volts or 200 volts or 4,000 volts or 9,000 volts and turn itself into a fucking execution or tennis racket that I intend to use on my employees. It's going to be fun. You want to touch my cat, Anel? You want to make little stickers on my desk about checking my cat? We're going to change this because you touched this when it was 1,500 watts. Wait till you touch this when it's 600,000. Oh, the voltage. We'll save that for when I get back from vacation. But I digress. What we need to do now is check those two things and see if they're present. So we are going to check backlight enable, which is present on the other side of the board. Backlight enable, and we're going to check and see what our feedback ball looks like on the bottom of the chip. Now, this is Paul Daniels' software. Paul Daniels' software is so amazing that when I right-click backlight enable, it immediately shows me where it's present on the other side of the board. If you want to donate to Paul Daniels, because Paul Daniels' software has made your life easier, check out pldaniels.com. If you want to purchase Paul Daniels' software, because it makes your life, you want your life to be made easier the same way that it's made my life easier, check out pldaniels.com. If you don't want to pay for it, you said, screw that, I'm not paying for this, and I'm going to use Landrex because it's already pirated and free or whatever, well, you don't even have to do that, because Paul Daniels has released a version of the software with 99% of the improvements simply lacking that right-click functionality between the PDF and the board view. It's called Open Board View. It's available for free at pldaniels.com. And if you need a repair, or any type of data recovery, an iPhone repair, a Macbook repair, or anything else, and you're located in the hellhole that is Australia, go to pldaniels.com. He'll fix it for you. Paul Daniels. Now, we're going to take this MacBook apart. And get to the bottom of it. Literally. The screw is in the wrong hole. And I have 3 minutes before I have to go. The screw is also in the wrong hole. Rage. Rage. Speaking of rage, look at Paul Rage in the chat. It's not that lethal one. Fuck that guy. You did not screw that screw in all the way. That's why this was moving back and forth when I was tapping it. Yeah. You actually screwed none of these screws in all the way, which is actually a good thing. So this person has combined two fuck-ups. The first fuck-up is putting the wrong screw in the wrong hole. However, they were putting long screws in short holes, but they managed to balance that fuck-up out by not screwing them all the way in. Because if you put the wrong screw in the wrong hole and you screw it all the way in, it goes through the board, and then rest in peace, you're dead. If you do that, it's just rest in peace, you're dead.
Get the fuck out of my store. We are closed.
Or GTFO out of my store. We are closed. Are you going to fix it in 3 minutes? I'm going to try, my friend. I'm going to try. Because I have to get my workout in the park in. And the park closes at 1. But I have to get a phone call in before I get my workout in the park in. And I also got to get some food in before I get my phone call in, before I get my workout in the park in, because they close at 1. Today I'm supposed to do 18... 16, 15, 14, 13 pull-ups, and then 16, 15, 14, 13 dips. That's going to be painful. It's ascending every day. My trainer is a fucking madman. But he is a good madman. Okay. This board is a mess of flux. Oh no. You've done something to it. What have you done to it? Paul, do you still love Air No Backlight? Do you still love Air No Backlight? Do you, Paul? Do you want this one? Oh no, Dum-Dum, what did you do, Dum-Dum? What did you do? Why are all these joints fucked with? What is this? What did you do to this little MacBook? I peas the ets. Let's get the camera in focus. Can't have this looking like a Jessa stream. Learn to solder, numbnuts. Oh, man. It's bad when people solder worse than me. Because you watch my videos. You see how bad I am at soldering. I suck. Also, these caps are corroded. Why are these still on the board? Why are you leaving corroded capacitors on your customer's motherboard? What the fuck? No. No, we're not leaving this here so that it could short down the line. And then they come back for warranty saying it's doing the same thing it did before. Screw that. No. Don't be lazy. Replace the shit. Replace the junk. Come on. Jesus. They just took a soldering iron and so I see corrosion. I touch with iron. Blah. Customer deserves better than that. I want to mail this back to the customer directly. I don't trust them. I don't trust them to even get the damn billing right. Again, to be clear, I don't care if you do this stuff on your own and you mess up. I'm working on my own bike, and I'm every now and then messing things up as I go because I'm no bike mechanic. I'm actually pretty bad when it comes to anything mechanical, which is one of the main reasons that I only work on my bike and not bikes that belong to other people. One of the reasons I don't offer, e-bike buffeting repair service, because, I just replaced my own tire for the first time just 2 weeks ago. So, since I'm not good at it, I'm not going to do that for other people. And one of the reasons that I really harp on this point every time I see it is because one of the primary excuses used by people who say that you can only have authorized repair is that if you don't limit it so that only authorized people can do repair, that you will have low quality. And one of the things that bothers me when it comes to other movements that are pushing for change or progress in the world is that they don't call out individuals within their own movements when they do something bad. It gets buried. And I don't like that very much. I think if you're going to have a certain standard, that you need to have that same standard for your own side that you would have for the other one. So I am pro-independent repair, but unlike some that are very ideologically pro-independent repair and will never extol the virtues of a first-party place or never point out what's wrong within their own industry, I will happily, heavily criticize and harp on people that do things like solder BGA chips that don't even have balls on them to customer devices, because this is fucked up. So, look, there's no balls on this. That chip there's no balls on it. How do we expect this to work? So let's take a look at the donor board. This is this is a donor board. This is an effing donor board, and it's in better condition than the board that somebody tried to fix. Like, what is this shit? Look at this. No balls. No balls. No balls. This is rubbish. Trash. Look at this. This one over here has 0 balls. This one over here, this is a donor board. And what do you see there? Balls. Big, meaty, spicy balls. Like the ones that Chef was talking about in the episode where they were making fun of Isaac Hayes' quitting because they were insulting Scientology. I actually thought that was a fucked up episode because they were touching on they were making fun of the concept of pedophilia within Scientology, but the thing is, there is an element to that that is, what's the word I can use without getting sued? Let's say they're not far off from the truth there, and I wish they had kind of continued pursuing it. But anyway, let's replace that chip and have it actually have balls on it this time and see if we get a backlight. This is something that I'm very used to when it comes to the very hyper-partisan politics of today. When you turn on the television, you're never actually watching news anymore. You're watching the WWF versus WCW. Everybody has a narrative, everybody has an agenda, everybody has a side. There's no such thing as nonpartisan. And the thing is, I don't even necessarily mind that so much. I don't mind it so much as long as you're okay with calling out the garbage on your side of the aisle. I am for independent repair. I'm for, I'm for being able to have access to, parts, schematics, guides, being able to buy stuff. I'm for giving a big fat middle finger to people like Lisa Jackson when they make the implications that there are all these safety concerns if these mere plebs touch our products. But I can't really give the middle finger there I can't give the middle finger there in good conscience and in good faith if I'm not also giving the middle finger to jackasses in my industry that do shit like this. So whereas some people think you're just harping for the sake of harping or complaining and, bitching about what somebody else did and crying for no reason, not really. I mean, I have the standards. I have the standard of the people who are on my side. That I do of the other side. And I'm sick and tired of watching people call themselves news when they don't do that. And at the very least, in my own teeny tiny corner of the world, my pathetic little MacBook repair office that smells like sewage because the landlord still hasn't come to fix the plumbing issues in the basement, I'd like to live my values. And maybe someday I'll live in a world where the other individuals live theirs. Okay, so what's the orientation of this? I actually can't see it anymore. Ah, this way. Thank you very much. What degeneracy is this? Balls and boards. Yes, well, it's not that the balls are what make this degeneracy. It's when the chip has no balls that it's degeneracy. And to be clear, when I'm talking about this stuff, my standards aren't really that high. I mean, I don't have steady hands. I solder like a nincompoop. I don't have steady hands. I don't have any sort of real engineering knowledge. If you think I do, have a conversation with me and you'll be disappointed. Just a normal dude that barely passed high school, cheated on his chemistry regions, and dropped out of college. So if I can have the standard for myself, then I don't feel bad having it for others. Alright, so now we've got a new LED driver on there with balls. Now I'm just going to go around this board and try to remove any pieces of idiocy that I see. Because I'm sure there's going to be a lot more. I can't trust that that was the end of it. Alrighty. It looks like... Yep. Looks like we're just about good. Okay, that little resistor in there could use a little bit of touch-up, but it doesn't look like a bad one. It's also not something that has a direct... it's going to short anything to ground in a bad, violent way, so I can do this. Now, it seems like that has been soldered before because the capacitor seems to be coming up from the board a little bit. So we are going to try and flow that back into place properly. Lewis's standard. If I can have balls, so can you. That's not my standard because I'm sure that would get me... Yeah, that's a bad... That's going to get me in trouble. Okay. 21 volts. 25. So we should be seeing a backlight soon. And we should also, with that backlight, be seeing a question mark folder on the screen momentarily. So just give it a moment, and we will have a backlight on the screen. There's this one line in the show The Honeymooners. Honeymooners is one of my favorite shows of all time on television. And there's this one line I remember when Ralph got laid off. Cramden was a bus driver. He was played by Jackie Gleason. And he was talking about the fact that he got laid off. And he said something like aggravation. 101 aggravations every day. Driving a bus in the summertime, dying from the heat. In the wintertime, freezing from the cold. All kinds of weather. Through the rain, the snow, and the sleet. You know that sign they have in the post office? The mail gets through no matter what kind of weather? You know why? 'Cause the mailman rides with me, that's why. And I kind of feel that way when I get these jobs here. You know what? Yes, my store, as you saw in the store tour, may look a little rough around the edges. We, as people, may be a little rough around the edges. But at the end of the day, after you've given your MacBook to that franchise, after you've given your MacBook or your phone for data recovery to that beautiful, pretty, fancy schmancy looking franchise, at the end of the day, do you know why it probably works? Because they sent it here. Because they sent it here. Or they watched a video that Jess or I made. When you go to a repair shop, one of the things that you should look for, do they actually look like they fix shit? Seriously. 'Cause, you know, when you go to Tim's office, it's neater than mine, it's nicer, it still looks nice, but it looks like a place where people fix shit. When you walk into this store, it's unmistakable when you walk into this place that people actually fix shit here. There are a lot of places that you can walk into where it looks nice and pretty and sexy, and they have their nice little square POS system and their iPad for checking and blah-de-blah-de-blah. But when it comes time to actually make something work again, they're going to do to your computer what they did to this one. I'm going to start shamelessly shilling myself way more than I have in the past. Fuck these people. Send your computer here. SendYourMacbook.com. Do you want your computer to be treated properly the first time? SendYourMacbook.com. Don't delay. Make sure Lewis can fund newer vacations today. Speaking of vacations, this is going to be my last repair before I go on a nice, long, extended, well-needed 5,000 miles that way vacation. And if you're the place that sent this in, on behalf of your customer, who's now waiting an additional week to get his machine back, on behalf of your customer, that's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something.